It's Valentine's Day, and while many of us are thinking about what we're going to get for our significant others, I want to encourage the dads out there to not forget about their daughters. As a daddy's girl, I can I can't tell you the glorious memories I have of Valentine's Day with my father. Unfortunately, he passed away this year on June 4th. So it's been exactly 1 month and 10 days since we lost him. And while my channel here at Sweet Tea is a little bit messy, I like to talk about reality television and latest topics and things like that. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. Um, which start this YouTube channel and do this kind of commentary because those are things that interest me. So it's really a hobby for me. But I also want to talk about real things and real situations, like we talk about in our hair salon or in my hair salon, in my suite. As a stylist of over 20 years now, I've had many conversations with women over many Valentine's days. And we're always concerned about the same things. And the conversation is usually the same. What are your plans? What are you doing? What's he gonna do for you? What you gonna do for him? But I can also say that a lot of those relationships come and go. Men will come in and out of our lives. Unfortunately, relationships don't always last forever, and we're able to pick a lot of our relationships. But as daughters, we're not able to pick our fathers. And as fathers, when you bring daughters or children in general into the world, you have a certain responsibility to them. And as a daughter who would consider herself a daddy's girl, I think it's important that you guys make memories with your daughters that will surpass any Valentine's Day, whether you're here or not, whether you're on earth and in her life in the physical or not. I can remember so many Valentine's days with my father. And one of the things that was always constant was that little heart-shaped box of candies. And he would have them on the table for us in the morning for my sister and I. Let me show y'all the real picture too, because AI kind of messed it up and they got my daddy looking a little crazy. Show y'all this real picture. So this is my daddy and my mother, and I'm the baby in the middle. And my sister is the one on the side with the two ponytails. She's 2 years older than me. Um, my parents were married for 49 years. And that was literally until death did them part, as my mother held his hand when he transitioned a month and a half ago, 1 month and 10 days ago. But this is not a sad video. Forgive the tears. They say that grief is the price you pay for love. So on this Valentine's Day, even when you see these tears, it's because I love my father. And because it's Valentine's Day and it's the day that we celebrate love. I think it's important that fathers and daughters just remember how special that relationship is. And that daddies, if you are here with your daughters, and you, especially when they're little, it's so important that you all set the foundation for how you want those girls to be treated and how you want them to be loved. And Valentine's Day is the perfect day to remind them of how you want them to be loved. And my dad did that every Valentine's Day and every day of our lives. But on Valentine's Day, we could always look forward to that little heart-shaped box of candies on the kitchen table when we woke up in the morning. And my dad worked nights, or he worked what they call third shift. So he would go to work at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then he would get off at like midnight. And so we would see him first thing in the mornings. And it was like clockwork on Valentine's Day. Like I couldn't wait to wake up and get that little heart-shaped box of candies. And it was consistent. Consistency matters in little girls' lives, dads. Showing up for them matters, whether you want to or not, whether it's a cheerleading competition or a little girl that wants to play basketball. Showing up for them is everything. Everything. And my dad was consistent in that way. Showed up for the good times and the bad times. Whether he was celebrating us at school or he was coming to talk to the principal, he was there. And that's the way that you show love to your daughters. You give them, you set the standard for how you want them to be treated, how you want them to be loved. And that also means by encouraging them to be respectful of themselves. And you do that by putting women in their lives who you want them to model themselves after. So when you think about who you want to have children with, make sure that the woman you want to have children with is someone who you would not mind raising your daughters or mentoring your daughters, because that will be their example. Man. And my mother is wonderful. I have a beautiful mother, and she and my dad were married for 49 years, and they showed us what real love looked like. And my daddy wasn't always the most affectionate man. He didn't necessarily show us love in a hugging, kissing, cuddling with us type of way. But he showed us love in the way that he knew how. And that was by providing for us. We never had to worry about if we were going to have food on the table or a roof over our head. By protecting us, no one would mess with us. And from the boys to the girls, to the adults, to the teachers, because they knew my daddy did not play. You know? And those things are important to little girls. They're important to little girls. Those things build security in your daughters, and that will give them confidence. And you speak love and life into your daughters. You tell them they're beautiful, and they won't be so impressed when the guy on the street tells them they're beautiful. You know, if you polish their nails at home, they won't be so impressed when the guy on the street can take them to get their nails done. If you drop them off at school, they won't be so impressed when the guy that approaches them has a car. Because my daddy can take me. If you buy them bags, they won't be so impressed if a guy can. Because my daddy can buy me that. You set the standard for how you want your little girls to be treated. And you show that in how you love their moms. In 49 years, I'm 46, so for 46 years, I got to witness real love and sacrifice, and my parents working opposite schedules to provide for us and to be there for us, because that's love. They sacrificed the time that they were able to spend together so that someone was always there for us, so that someone could be a constant in our lives, because that provided security, and that's love. My dad would work 2 jobs sometimes. He worked all during the week, and then on the weekends, he went to work at a mechanic shop, because especially at holiday time, he would beg for those hours so that he could put gifts under our tree, because that was love. You sacrifice for your children. So on this Valentine's Day and every other day, I just want to remind daddies how important it is to build those relationships with your daughters. Get them that little heart-shaped box of candy. And be consistent in their lives. Show up. And one day when you leave this world, they will mourn and they will grieve, because grief is the price we pay for love. And to be loved by my father the way that I was loved by my father, I'll go through this grieving process. I will gladly go through it. if that's the price I have to pay for being loved by him the way that I was loved. So again, when you're out getting those Valentine's gifts and you're running to get that last minute candy on Valentine's Day, don't forget about your little girls. They will appreciate it, and you will set the standard for how you want them to be treated without even saying anything, because actions speak louder than words. Show them in your actions how you want them to be treated. Show them in your actions. And I think it's so important too that we as Black women, or that it's important for me as a Black woman to show this and to tell this story, because so many times Black men are painted in a bad light, and there's a stereotype that Black children are not raised with fathers or good fathers in the home. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not the truth. Some of us have phenomenal fathers who sacrificed so much for us, who don't have criminal records, who were faithful to their moms, who provided good lives for us, who taught us right from wrong, who instilled good morals in us and good values in us, who didn't hit us, didn't beat our moms. I had none of that. I had a phenomenal father. Phenomenal. And there are a lot of phenomenal fathers out there. And little girls, women, if you have your daddies and he's good to you, don't forget about him on Valentine's Day either. Tell him you love him and tell him you appreciate him. Celebrate him too. And I'm sure he'll appreciate it as much as you do. Forgive me, y'all. One thing y'all gonna learn about me in this suite is I keep it all the way real. And I'm crying and I'm snotting right now. And I don't have no tissue by me. But I'm going to get up and I'm going to end this video. But I wanted to do this, and I wanted to come on here and say this. Is my makeup running and all of that? Oh, Lord have mercy. It's real. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I love my daddy, y'all. I love my daddy. And again, I just wanted to let me tell y'all this too. My daddy was great. He wasn't just good, he was great. He combed hair. My daddy combed our hair in the morning before school. Let me pause this and go get me some tissue. Give me 1 second. I want to pause this and get some tissue. I'm sorry. Let me get it together. But like I was telling y'all, my dad combed our hair before schools. And we little Black girls. I'm a little Black girl, and I had natural hair. I did not have a relaxer. My daddy was combing natural hair in the morning. And I mean in ponytails, twisting it down to the ends, barrettes on the ends. And this was every morning. We didn't get our hair combed once a week, and that's supposed to last you the whole week. Daddy combed our hair every morning before school because my mom would go to work before we left for school. So Daddy would get home after we went to bed, though. So it was rare that we saw them at the same time, except for on the weekends. But he would comb our hair before school. I remember I graduated from kindergarten, and he actually pressed my hair with a pressing comb. And he curled it in Shirley Temple curls, and I thought I was the prettiest little girl at that kindergarten graduation. You couldn't tell me I wasn't. Like, those are the kind of things, those are the ways that daddies show love. And guess what, dads? Even if the hair isn't perfect, because my hair was laid, my daddy had mine laid, but even if the hair isn't perfect, it doesn't matter. Those little girls are just going to appreciate you taking the time to groom them and to just play in their hair, to do something that you might not normally do. or just to do something that is routine. You can have whatever it is, whatever is y'all's thing, you can have it. I love it when I see a daddy and a daughter holding hands and walking in the store. I love it, especially when it's a little girl, because those are things that they will never forget. Those are moments that they'll never forget. I remember things like riding in the car with my dad on the weekends. My dad was a car enthusiast. He loved cars, race cars. He could build race engines. He used to build Volkswagen engines and motorcycles. And he was a genius with that kind of stuff. And I mean, absolute genius. And never had any real formal training. He was just had a real love for it. And his passion grew into a career. And he actually worked 37 years in aerospace, building the space shuttle engine, and he had no college degree. Like, it was all hustle, dedication, and the love for his family that inspired him and motivated him to show up for work every single day. Like, he rarely took days off. He had so much time saved up at work that, like, for the last 15 years of his career, he could take off work from Thanksgiving all the way to the end of the year because he had that much vacation time accrued over all those years of working and not missing work. So things like that too, dads, that shows love to your daughters. When you can provide them with security and they know that my dad's going to get up and get out and go to work and make it happen for me, that gives them security and they don't have to look for that outside the home and in other men. So those are things that's going to teach your daughters and going to allow them to find a healthy love. So on Valentine's Day, they can celebrate a healthy love and not something that's toxic. Because if your daddy can give it to you, you're not going to look for it outside of your home before you're ready, you know? And have those kind of conversations with your daughters too, dad. Set the standard for them. Let them know what you will and will not tolerate in a partner for them. Let them know, not just in your words, but in your actions. I never saw my dad hit my mother. So I'm not going to tolerate that. Not saying I'm not going to tolerate it. Not saying nobody ain't never tried it, but I'm not tolerating it because my daddy set that example. He set that bar higher than that. That's not good enough for me. You understand? When I say buy your things, girls, that you don't buy your daughters things, provide your daughters with things that you would not want them to seek outside of the home. That doesn't mean you have to spoil them rotten and give them everything that they want just because. Teach them good morals and good values too, because that's a part of loving them. Teach them to earn things. That's a part of loving them. I remember a time I had my own money. I was 15 years old, and where I live at, you can get your license at 15. I had my driver's license. I had my mother's 12-year-old Honda Accord with the paint rusted off, and I thought I was all that. And I was trying to go, I was trying to go shopping to a whole other city that required me crossing over a big bridge, a huge bridge with a lot of water, a lake. And I was trying to go to the city where they have a whole bunch of one-way streets that I had never driven in before in my life, and probably only had ridden in, even in the car with my parents, a handful of times. And I was trying to drive down there and go shopping because there was a store that I knew that was 2 stories, and the second floor was nothing but shoes. And I was 15, and my daddy would not let me go. And I could not for the life of me understand why he would not let me drive down there and park the car at the time, this was the murder capital of the world. Just stupid. And I wanted to go down there and get those shoes, and I could not for the life of me understand why my daddy said no. But now, of course, that it's, 31 years later, and I have got a little sense, I understand why he said no. But even that was the way that he loved me. And guess what? He said no, and the reason I understand why he said no is because he didn't have to explain it to me. Because no just meant no. And that's what it was, okay? And I figured it out later. Now I understand. Today, I would probably be nervous to drive down there by myself and park and walk and go to the store. But at 15, I was ready to go. And Daddy was like, no, you're not. So funny. But that was the way that he loved me. It's the way that he loved me. You know, and I didn't mean for this video to be a rant, but I did mean for this video to be a reminder for daddies to love their daughters on Valentine's Day. Show them the love and set the standard for what you want them to have so that one day they can celebrate Valentine's Day with someone who would love them the way that you would want them to be loved. And that's the message. That's the message. I didn't mean to get carried away, and I didn't mean to cry. Forgive me, y'all. If I triggered anyone or anything like that, I know that this year of first without him is going to be not going to be easy. I know it's not going to be easy. But again, like I said, grief is the price we pay for love. And to have been loved by my father is so worth it. It's worth the grief. So these tears are actually tears of joy. With every tear that falls, it's a reminder of how much I was loved. So on Valentine's Day and every day, daddies, love your daughters. And when they're 46 years old and you need them, they'll be there for you. And they'll do anything for you, like I would do for my daddy. And if I had one more Valentine's Day, I would get him that heart-shaped box of candy. So daughters, if you have your daddies, show them some love too on Valentine's Day. Because if they good to you, just know it's not easy. It's not easy to be a parent. And we know that it's a lot easier for a man to run out on his kids than it is for a woman. That's why so many of us are raised in single parent households. So if you're one of those girls that's lucky enough to have your daddy, love on him. Let him know you love him and that you appreciate him. And daddies, love your daughters. And pick good mothers for them. And show their mothers love so that they understand how they're supposed to be loved too. Okay. From my sweet to your sweet. From my sweet to your sweet, thank you guys for joining me. If you guys got to the end of this video, I appreciate it because I know it's not like a gossip video or a hot tea video, but it's a video from my heart and it's real. And every video I make is going to be real and it's going to be genuinely me. And this is just who I am, y'all. I can cry when I'm happy. I can cry when I'm sad. But right now, these are happy and sad tears a little bit. It's because the grief is the price we pay for love. But from one daddy's girl to a bunch of daddies, moms, and other daddies' girls, happy Valentine's Day.